G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Tabletop RPG News. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the book, The Boyhood of Cade, book one of the Empire Elves. All the links are in the description below. Now, I am bringing you the latest from Bundle of Holding, where you can get entire bundles such as the early hero system for way less than their retail value. And the beautiful part is their DM are free. So no digital rights management programs, no signing. Well, you do have to sign up for email, and it is actually linked to your drive-through RPG account. So if there's any updates, it's actually you get notified there. And you actually do frequently get updates. People do update their old material and sometimes as a bonus release new material. They also give you special offers on, so people dump that, well, dump is not the incorrect word, it's not the correct word, but you know what I mean. They bundle their early material and then even give you a discount on their new material. So and it really allows you to venture out beyond Dungeons and Dragons and all the other, basically, I wouldn't say they're artificial. I know some people do, but sometimes it does feel like they're artificially elevated. I mean, don't forget, a lot of the current RPGs aren't owned by the original creators, except maybe, and a lot of them are licensed. And really, a lot of these were early systems were made at a time where you were lucky to make a profit. This was a passion industry once upon a time. Very niche, very passionate. And they don't forget, they didn't have digital back then. So if they had digital back then, it would have been so much easier. Plus, also the cost of entry to role playing used to be very cheap. And this brings it back. And of course, nobody's criticized lately. I think people have caught on. I'm not paid to do this. This is my passion, my hobby. I like role playing. I love the exploration of the human condition, and of course, in recent times it's helped me with my writing. Now, these are time limited offers. Now, the early hero system originally, this offer was November 2018. It's been brought back. This is covers the hero system 83 to 87 from Hero Games, Justice, Land of Mystery, Espionage, Fantasy Hero, and more. Now, in the game collection, you get Justice Inc. Let me just scroll down. Now, Heroes is a big system, just not as big as others. But still, supporting this gets the donation to Diana Jones. Now, the game collection, pay the minimum price, get Justice Inc. Pulp Fiction of the 1920s and 30s, where you and your friends will experience action and excitement of the Pulp Fiction stories of horror, mystery, espionage, romance, space opera, and more. Time lost horrors beneath the streets of Massachusetts villages, megalomaniacal world conquerors, insidious plots to bring civilization to its knees, search for lost treasures, and of course, trot around the globe as a spy, and many other daring adventures using the hero system rules for psychic powers, talents, and a wide range of skills, and of course, guns, and more guns. You can play a street fighter, professor, explorer, reporter, dashing ace. If people don't know what a dashing ace is, they're the heroes of World War One, the flying aces. And of course, you have Ghostbusters and all those. A lot of our popular culture today is born out of Pulp Fiction. This alone, just book alone, sells me on the entire package. But of course, there's more. Those no, those who don't, well, you're pretty much blessed not to get those sorts of ads. But Espionage and Danger International, Modern Secret Agents plus Merchants of Terror, Stopping Evil Plots as a Secret Agent. And again, these are Pulp Fiction-esque. These came out in 85. This is back when people viewed the CIA's heroes. So, yeah, fold this under fiction, but still, it's fun, harmless fun, and basically, yeah, carry out your deepest fantasies with fantasy adventure. Now, Fantasy Hero 1 is a world of heroes, bold warriors, and awe-inspiring magic. Create the character you want to play from hundreds of skills and abilities, spells and powers from favorite stories and fantasy. Get the feeling of realistic combat to some extent, although it is ruled by dice rolls. Magic is unique, and you can create a unique magician. This goes back to old school hero gaming in the early days of RPGs. I mean, if this was just on its own, I mean, retail price is $750. That's harkening back to 1985 prices, really. Star Hero, of course, takes to the stars. Join the rebellion. The tyranny of the kindred. Now, of course, you have alien races and everything you need for a space opera with the Alliance and several other action adventure hero tropes. This came out originally first edition in 1989, so it's going to be very pulp. All of this is going to be very Pulp Fiction-y, but this is the fun. Okay, this I'm not entirely familiar with early hero system, but I have actually play tested a hero system, I think version 4 or something. It's fun. And really, they pack a lot in, although well, up to you. But here we go. Robot Warriors. Maneuver a 75-ton humanoid tank across the laser-charred battlefields. This is basically action mech game for bare minimum rules, robot to robot fighting. This is something 86, yeah. And just the basic set for $10. I mean, but that's basically massive value right there. But then you get the supplements. Lands of Mystery, Jaguar, The Trail of Gold Spike. Basically, campaign that pioneered early Lost World romance, action adventure, all based on Edgar Rice Burroughs. Well, sort of. But you have various inspirations here. A lot of these stories lifted right out of the 1920s, and you'll actually recognize the origins of a lot of Pulp Fiction, which wrongly is attributed to the directors and not the writers of the actual stories you're seeing. I mean, as a writer, I'm sick of the director getting the credit. Okay? I'm sick of the director. I'm sick of him. The megalomaniac, okay, seems to get the public's attention, and I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of the weakness of the Writers Guild, plus the expensive membership. Anyway, these supplements, fantastic. Of course, you've got pulp fiction, espionage, fantasy. Of course, Beast, back when this word did not have sexual connotations, the hero system, bestiary, is about, now this is the 3rd edition of this book. And geez, it has a low retail price, but I mean, it's basically free with this bundle. So it's awesome, actually. The hero system, more robots, more armory, of course, get into guns, and more guns, where mostly modern firearms of the mid 80s, which pretty much still holds up today. Most weapons have not advanced. This is something that a lot of people are actually understanding, that most modern firearms are still just better made, but they're not producing better results. I mean, this is a really good look at real world weapons. Now, this is 179. Yeah, but look at the contributors. I mean, people are obviously buying the Step Up, Be a Hero. 27 gets you the entire bundle, and look at some heroes have given as much as $40 odd. Now, the champion system came out 81. This early edition 81 ran until 87. It's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rule books. Basically, you get in the core system, you get Champions 1st, 2nd, and 3rd edition, Champions 2 and 3, and more. Now, Champions is a early tabletop role-playing game. Groundbreaking rules. It was groundbreaking for its time and paved the way for many, many superhero knockoffs since. Unfortunately, it hasn't really got the fame it deserves. I mean, I think GURP Superheroes and others really took off after this. But it's still, if you're into superheroes and tabletop adventuring, this would be an excellent addition to your collection for measly, well, the original book, $31, which you get for $15, again, makes it worth the value. Again, you get the first 3 editions of the Champion system. Truth, Justice in a Fantastical World of Comic Books and Pulp Fiction. And it really goes together well with the hero system. And it is from Hero Games. These are fully integratable. But if you're smart dungeon master, you can easily adapt any system. You can turn anything into a D20 system. You can turn anything into a D6 system. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just the maths and the numbers and the time, just to come up with a quick chart of it all, which I should have done ages ago. But Champions 2 and 3. Now, of course, these are the Champions 2 is actually the first of the rule supplements for the 2nd edition, and Champions 3 is the first rule supplements for Champions 3 is the 2nd expansion. So you have the first expansion called Champions 2 and the 2nd expansion called Champions 3. And this is for both for second edition, but easily transferable to first, or not so easy to first, but it's the third. And of course, you have enemies. Who needs friends when you got enemies, right? And you have villainry, gadgets, and of course, first and third edition Game Master screen. Now, level up, that means paying more. You get a bonus edition. Strike Force, Champions supplements, 1988 version of third edition supplements. More than 40 characters, very playable. Bring all your heroes together and onto the world of Strike Force. And of course, you got Super Agents, which of course, you have Nick Fury, Shield, Thunder, all the. If you're a Marvel's fan, you actually get the earliest of Marvel licensed material that still holds up today. And if you're into the original Nick Fury, there he is on the cover. So, Champions, of course, had its golden age. And of course, they produced a golden age of Champions for third edition. And it led to the fourth edition. So, American Way of Life, beginnings of World War II, powers, skills, vehicles, weapons, victory, bonds, and all that stuff that kept democracy safe. For democracy. Of course, this is the early age of superheroes. Fiction, of course, but really, it's where it started. Comic book heroes evolved in the 1920s and 30s, Pulp Fiction, and there was a golden age just leading into World War II. And of course, as you know, out of that came Captain America punching Nazis, and that's where it all started. It was all war propaganda, punching Nazis. It still a theme that carries on today. When it was fun, yeah. Of course, these days, 5 organization books. Because what's a hero without villains? Yeah, and of course, you have a plethora of them. Illegal aliens, extraterrestrials, killer clowns, crimes for the sake of doing crimes, demons, doom, communism, basically all the stuff of Pulp Fiction. It's amazing stuff, really. And the thing is, 4 adventures and 8 more, and of course, you're going to have cars. And it may sound a little bit odd, but really, Car Wars is a dog-eat-dog world that really lends itself to an amazing world. If now people familiar with Steve Jackson games know that Car Wars was one of his most successful products before GURPS. It still probably is one of his most successful products. He's probably one of the most prolific producers of material out there. And of course, for $30, you can just basically get a couple of books, some of them 25, 20. So you really got amazing bundle here as well. Now, of course, back in September 2020, Hobby Games for the Hero System produced these magazines, and these were digital editions. And this is bringing back of an earlier bundle. The Heroes magazine, these are all the early editions from the archives, and you can bonus up and get more. And of course, again, goes to charity. Now, Digital Hero, that was a long-running magazine for 5th edition. But I mean, anybody who's familiar with a system can adapt. Yeah, it was a regular monthly magazine throughout 2006, went bi-monthly in 07, ended its 47 run in 08. So I for a RP, think of all the magazines. The early 2000s saw an end to print media in a massive amount of print media. Digital, the digital age was beginning, but not the digital subscription models that we see today or the digital distributions. But of course, as a content creator, I know how hard it is to come up with content month after month. And the cost of content was always rising. And even today, I struggle with sometimes with the cost of content. I have to produce bare bones because the lack of support, the lack of financial support, and so I know what it's like. You're looking at thousands of dollars a week in artwork alone, and you add to that the poor business model that these companies had of trying to bring people together. Because they didn't have an amazing high-speed internet, a lot of people couldn't trust others to work on their own and come up with content. And also, a lot of people didn't know how long it would take to make content. And some of these magazines had to recycle graphics so often and still pay the artists. But still, the problem is that they tried to, oh, we don't know how long it's going to take for the artists to make art. And so a lot of these couldn't plan ahead because they didn't know what next month was going to be like. Really, a lot of these magazines should have been quarterly from the start. But there was such competition back then because you were competing against Dragon, White Dwarf. Now I can't think of the rest, but I think there were about. I remember seeing the stand go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, from 96, from about 95 to the 2000s. Magazines, you had video game magazines, you had RPGs, you had online RPG magazines. So there was a lot of competition in the space for Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, and pretty much all the smaller stuff. So, and of course, particularly in Australia, you pretty much only got whatever made it to the top because small market, you had to have what they thought was going to be the best seller. So a lot of these didn't even get wide distributions to start with, and when they did, it was usually as bundles, and they were already out of print. But another problem is I mean, there's only so many guns you can introduce. There's only so many weapons and upgrades and spells, and as you see with D&D, it is getting boring with the amount of there's ever so slight changes that a lot of these new supplements, and that's that's the danger of monthly content. And I don't know how people feel, but I think the with so much content out there now, it's going to be harder and harder and harder. And a lot of these magazines should have been quarterly, and I'm probably gone on too long, but Digital Hero, and of course the upgrade, you get the Adventures Club, Haymaker Archives. These are all articles. 47, you get the rest of the supplement. And I mean, over 1,000 pages of, and yeah, worth $189 retail. Sorry. And I've already purchased this. 34. Yeah, $30, I think. Yeah, I've already purchased this one. I purchased this one ages ago. It's really good stuff. I mean, yeah, creatures, characters, settings, just the mythical Greece alone. If you're into role playing and fantasy, you really, really want to. Of course, the thing is, yeah, this is the Boy on the Bundle, and they have their own Reddit. Uh, Sorry, I've gone on too long now. Halls of Ardenville is another one I got. This is coming to a close in 10 days. And this is an old school fantasy RPG. And it's a complete collection. It is of course, it's a mega dungeon, not and it's basically AD&D, very, when they say D&D, they're talking, and okay, you had basic, advanced, and then of course the expert set. Then came Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Then they brought out the D&D hard book. I had the D&D hard book, and that's where Arden Vol was created for, but it is AD&D compatible, of course. Huge mega dungeon. Of course, it comes with the virtual tabletop maps, free. I mean, it's an amazing set. Good Society. Now, regardless of the source material, which is Jane Austen, if you want to create a romantic subplot, if you want a imperial court, Jane Austen is actually for you. Just that I know you don't want your friends to find out, but it's better than reading Jane Austen, and because you can go through each section piece by piece. And this goes to the Rainforest Trust. This is the rule books and cards, helps you come together and create your own fictional setting in the 1800s, 3 days from London. Now, of course, you have all the material you need for tell a story of the major characters within 3 to 8 cycles. This is chapter by chapter, and you have various events, rumors, and scandals, delicate letters written by characters, upkeep, each play session. You have desires and relationships and connections to define your characters and their circumstances. And this is the genteel class, the rising class of merchants, professionals, and industrialists. Now, professionals, basically accountants, bankers, bookkeepers, lawyers, they actually started to overvalue themselves, of course, to keep up with the merchant class. But the merchant class was making more and more money, and the rise of industrialism saw more and more professionals able to charge more and more money, and this created the middle class. This is a middle class society, not really upper class. They are wannabes. And you have vampires. If you're into vampires and you've expanded your magic and senses of swordsmanship, duels, the Fey Court, love affairs, love and longing. Of course, yes, I did buy this because I could look past Jane Austen and see the historical reference value in the material. And of course, another one I got recently was Relics, an Angel Top role-playing game from Tin Star Games, and $15 US for the complete pack. I know it's about nearly $30 Australian, but it's the price you pay for being in the best country in the world. Everybody will rip you off. Called success tax. Now, of course, modern urban fantasy, Earthbound Angels in Las Vegas. Regardless of what you think, this is fun. You have powers, you have angels, you have demons, you have desires, you have unreliable narrators, and of course you have crooks. Sodom and Gomorrah, in fact. See, the modern Sodom and Gomorrah before the new kingdom of God establishes itself on earth. You have relics, and of course demons, and of course treasures, and of course you have some artwork. Now, regardless of the source material or the religious connotations, it's still a lot of fun. And $15 for a few days of fun and helping charity, I'm sold. Now, of course, I'd love for you to all help me out and check out the links in the description below. And of course, shout out to Australian Tabletop Role-Playing Game, which is, yeah, we all wish we had more time. I absolutely agree. I honestly do agree that we are overworked, underpaid. That, but again, this is the price you pay for being an Aussie, I guess. But the entire world, we once upon a time actually had a proper decent leisure class where people worked 3 to 4 days a week. They had time to sit around. They had time to read a book. Everybody seems to have no time for nobody or nothing and actually have to take time off work to watch a cricket game. Once upon a time, summer, you had the holidays, you were on your work break, and you could watch a couple of games. You didn't have to watch every game or go to every game. I used to go maybe once a year. Most people can't afford to go to one game, let alone a 5-test series. I've had the if you've been to the SCG and seen world-class cricket, that's a phenomenal experience, even if you're not a fan. And it's the same with tabletop games. Spending a Sunday afternoon playing a game for a couple of hours seems to feel like a thing of the past. Nobody has time, and that is sad because tabletop role-playing game, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, a tabletop role-playing game is an awesome way to spend it a Sunday afternoon. Instead of sitting around sipping tea and coming up with gossip, you'll actually do something productive with your time, exercise your mind, have a bit of laugh. Yeah, have a bit of laugh with an awesome RPG. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate all my viewers, of course, and I hope everybody will like, share, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I appreciate all of you. However, I need your support. Now, of course, nothing for nothing, right? I have coffee mugs and other items based on my writing, The Empire of Elves. I have my Patreon, where you can get early access to my writing and help support the cover, the artwork, the publication of my material. And of course, I have a RPG material for Future Fantasy, which is my role-playing material. And of course, all my links in the description below. My books are in the link tree, available in paperback, audiobook, and of course, ebook. And of course, if you really want, you can buy me a coffee and or a meal. Thank you for your time. I appreciate each and every one of you. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.